Ready, Freddie?
As ready as I can ever be.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Can I Be Mean for a Sec? I'm your host, Ella, and I'm joined with my best friend, Maggie.
Hello.
Today, Maggie and I are just kind of in a mood. So, we've got the best attitudes we got coming at you today. So, we're having an absolutely fun time over here. But we wanted to make sure that we got this episode out to you on time, pre recording. And we're doing the best we can to maintain the positivity that you normally see every week.
I don't know that I would call what we normally do positivity, but if people like it and that's what you want to call it, you go for it. Energetic, yes. Positive.
Questionable.
Positive, questionable. It's fine. We're going to do this. It's going to be great.
We're doing this and we've committed. So here we are. Anyways, so something that has been recently bothering Maggie and I, we've had this debate all through our college friendship and into now adulthood of digital versus paperwork. Bunch of digital activities, bunch of digital forms, paperwork, needing to hand fill things out, note taking, things of that nature. So I believe that this did start when we were in college. I, as Maggie liked to jokingly call me, but still seriously called me, was a gadget girl. And now I have a cat named Gadget.
You are Inspector Gadget. You are Inspector Gadget. You have a tool, a toy, a gadget, a doodad, a something for everything. You have a trick up your sleeve. There is always something going on. It is not at all surprising that you named your cat Gadget. I have learned a lot of gadgeting from you, but I am not a digital girly. And digital paperwork makes me want to cry.
So this definitely started when we were in college. I had basically 85% of my note taking on my iPad. I had the Notability app. I was able to download professors' PowerPoints, make notes on them. I was able to record audio in some of my lectures, obviously within permission policies, just so that it's easier for me to take a scribble and go back to what I was missing, re-listen to it, take better notes. But even for any homework or documentation, I downloaded it and instantly had it on my iPad, mostly because it was so simple for me to be able to use the find feature and then find key phrases, find keywords for that I was looking for. And I wasn't rustling through a bajillion pieces of paper. While I do a decently good job of organizing my digital work into different folders and naming things properly, it is a lot easier just to use that find feature. And that's why I've used that for so long. Maggie, on the other hand,
I have a lot of thoughts. First, Notability is like my one exception, and that's just because I'm physically writing it. Like, my qualms are more, I told my mom once, I was like, look, I feel like I need like 7 different bank accounts. And she was like, what are you talking about? You are a college student. You have no money. And I said, I know. But I need everything to be sortable. I need to be able to look and know this is this thing that belongs to this. And I don't have to sort through all the noise and the mush and the gush and all that. Like, if I can sort everything into a file, if I can physically or digitally physically move it, if I can touch it and put it out of the way, if I can touch it and I can make like a stack of this is what I need to do, that's fine. That's why but like Notability, I'm writing and I love to handwrite. If I'm typing it, I'm probably not going to remember it. If I write it, I might not reread it again, but I know what I wrote because I wrote it. And paper girly all the way. I have like 87 notebooks back here. I have like 100 pens behind over here. I've got it all. I am so analog.
it's so funny because anytime I've heard someone on the internet say that they are an analog person, even someone within our generation, I always think of just analog clock. And I just don't know why that's what the association in my brain says.
I do hate an analog clock, actually. I can read an analog clock. I'm not entirely useless.
Yeah, no, I'm not incompetent.
I don't know if anybody's seen that video recently of the guy who's like, I can't read a clock without the numbers, and what he means is an analog clock. And he says, but I can show it to ChatGPT and it'll tell me the answer. And then it gives him the wrong time. I don't know if anyone's seen that. I have. Every time I see it, I want to scream because A, that clock has numbers on it. I'm not great at a clock that doesn't have numbers, I will admit, but I can do an analog clock. I prefer digital, but I can read an analog clock. I'm not useless. But in terms of like writing and reading and such, I am an analog girly through and through.
I do think I really like, for at least digital paperwork, everything that I've needed to fill out recently, having it on not my computer, but having it on my iPad. If anything needs a digital signature, being able to do that is nice. The simplicity of download, digital sign, re-upload is a lot nicer than printing it out, scanning, re-uploading, that kind of nature. Because I'm not a big fan of e-signatures. I feel like it's cheating the system. Yes, I know I'm accepting T's and C's for using a digital signature and it's a pre-made template, but I do prefer just the hand signature on it. That's why my iPad's nice with the pencil. But I just work with a lot of paperwork with my job, with applying for jobs, my resumes. It's a lot easier just to keep everything all in one place. I'm not losing anything. As it is, I've been dealing with actually a lot of snail mail recently, and the organization with my snail mail is wild. I know where they are, don't know what they are.
Yeah, I have a pile of paperwork under my desk right now, and but it's a pile of like things I need to get to, and because it's physical pile, it's things that I'm gonna get to. I went through my computer the other day, and I had a lot of things on my desktop that I had just like screenshot or was just like hanging out there, and it was just random things that I was going to go back and deal with later. I was going to go back and look at later because I forgot. It was just it adds no dimension to anything. It needs to be like in my face and obtrusive. It's why I don't like to close out tabs on my computer when I'm on the internet. I don't like digital paperwork because it never works. Right? Like, if I need to sign a form, if I'm trying to sign a lease, if I want an apartment, I go to the apartment complex. I say, hey, I want to rent an apartment. They say, okay, cool. Fill out this paperwork. I fill out the paperwork. I take it back to the apartment complex. I get the apartment. That's great. Now, some people might be like, oh my God, that's so analog. That's so retro. That's so 90s. You're such a hipster. I don't care. It worked. Every time that I've had to do digital paperwork to get an apartment, it's been so messy, and then I have to have like multiple versions of the form, and then like I have to sign it and Alex has to sign it, but we have to sign different ones, then we have to make sure that they're both submitted, and then it'll tell us that it's signed and it's submitted, but we didn't do anything, and then we do it and then it tells us it's not signed and submitted even though we've signed it and submitted it. And it's just like it never, when you're trying to do important paperwork digitally, it never works. I've had to mail in my tax returns for the last like 3 or 4 years because at some point, somewhere, somehow, some number on one of my forms 1 year got messed up. So then the following year, I couldn't file them digitally because this number automatically filled in. This was one of those like automatic fill-in numbers from like the previous year. And it was not right, but we couldn't change it. But it wouldn't let me file my taxes because I was misreporting for the previous year. And so it was just confused. And then it screwed up all of my taxes. And then I moved and I have to do taxes in different states. And my taxes are just kind of a mess. It's so much easier. It's so much more reliable. I get a piece of paper. I sign it. I send it in. I have an apartment that I lived at for 6 months, and we're supposed to be getting our deposit back. I moved out of that apartment over a year ago, almost a year and a half ago, and we still haven't gotten our deposit back because we stopped and we got, they wouldn't take a check. So we had to get a money order. We were driving out here from Oklahoma. We ended up getting out here a day later. We got here on a Sunday. We had to have somebody else pick up our keys. We had to like send our deposit digitally, whatever. So we stop in Arkansas at a Walmart to like get it all sorted and get it sent out. Because we couldn't put it on a credit card because it was like a deposit or a money order or whatever, we don't have a shared bank account, so Alex just did it. And then when we moved out, they were supposed to give us our deposit back and they didn't. And then they like sent an email that was like, oh, we'll do this to do it digitally. And I think we tried that, and basically it wouldn't work digitally because it was in both of our names, but the account it was going to go back to was only one of us. I don't know. Something happened, but it also said if you don't do anything to do it digitally, after 30 days, we're going to send you a check. Cool, rad, fabulous. It's obviously been more than 30 days.
Dude, you gotta fight for that money back.
Oh, we have been. So we've gone back like multiple times and we've been like, and they've been like, well, we can't write. We've been like, you need to write us a check. And they're like, well, we can't write you a check. And we're like, okay, but like we've tried to do it digitally and it doesn't work. And they're like, well, yeah, so if you get that email and you just ignore it, like then we'll write you a check, but we can't write you one right now. And I'm like, but we have ignored it and we still haven't gotten the check. And they're like, well, we can't write you a check because it's both of you and the account's only in one of your names. And they just are constantly coming up with excuses. And that is not the thing that we're talking about today. But all of this is digital paperwork, because if the entire world just operated on checks like it used to, and we didn't have to worry about, oh, we're going to digitally do this, that, or the other, we're going to send you this and blah, blah, blah on the computer and yada, yada, yada. If they would just send us a check or we could just go pick it up, we just moved across town. It's not like we moved across the country. We did that one. When we moved out here, we got our deposit back just fine from our last apartment. That, no problem. This one, disaster. I hate digital paperwork. It would be so much easier if I could just walk in, sign something, be done with it. That's my really, really long way of saying all of that.
Oh, well, granted, all of the times that I've moved by myself. So I guess like nothing like that has been an issue for me. I do appreciate the process of digital paperwork on leases, actually, I take that back. I was about to say that I haven't experienced needing to do physical paperwork for contracts. I've only been exclusively doing digital paperwork. I take that back. My car lease was physical, but
and both of the houses that we lived in together, we signed physical leases.
I know that
in person.
I just remembered. I've been doing so many contracts in the last 2-3 years that they're all digital. So,
and that's like if there's like a one-off, like if I'm doing something at work and I need somebody across the country to sign a form for me, and I just send them an email with that form and like a digital, they click on it, it's signed, and it comes back to me. That's one thing. But if I'm filling out 8 separate forms and my lease has like 16 different subsections and I have to sign and date and initial and do all of that on all of them, and then it's still going to tell me that it's not done, like, I get it. I signed the lease for this apartment from a hotel room in Phoenix. That's great to be able to do, but it also is only great to be able to do if it works. And then like I download the file, but do I know what the file's called? And what if I lose it? And then like if I want to keep track of it, if I want to have it, I'm going to print it out. It's easier to read a piece of paper personally. I mean, but, like, I print it out.
You don't know what it's called. Well, if you downloaded it, it's your most recent on your downloads, then you rename the document.
Well, yes. But if I don't have time to rename it right now, if I'm just like in the middle of signing paperwork and I have to download this, and I also have to sign 16 more forms, and I have to download all of those, and then I have to go through and rename all of them.
It takes the same amount of time to rename a document as it is for you to like file it away under an appropriate area in all of your physical documentation.
Or you have one folder that everything lives in.
Yeah, exactly. It takes the exact same amount of time. But you can just tell
what it looks like. I like to be able to sort things into piles, because then I can tell exactly what it is when I see it. And then I know, oh, all of this is my lease documentation from 2 apartments ago. I don't need this anymore. I don't even live in that state. I like being able to touch it and know that it exists and it can't just like disappear or accidentally get deleted. I know it can get like thrown away and stuff, but I'm not quite a hoarder. So
it is also important to note for our listeners out there that both Maggie and I are very avid readers. Me, I read at a much slower pace than Maggie does, just to put that out there. I primarily read on an e-reader, and Maggie has a full personal library of physical books. Besides my 10 physical books that I have here, these are the only 10 books physically that I own right now. But these happen to be my favorite books.
That's not true. That might be the only books you read, but I know those are not all your favorite books. I know at least one of those books you haven't even read yet.
False. There's a bookmark in it. False. There is a bookmark in it. False. And actually, even more so, I have read this book. So actually, go check yourself.
I thought you hadn't. I thought you had only read part of it.
No, I have read this entire book, hence why I have not read any more in the series. That's why I had the discourse with it.
Just read the rest of them. They're very good.
Anyways, the top two are the ones I haven't. The top two I haven't read yet. I got them 2 for $1 at Barnes and Noble, and I said, "Oh, these are books that I've been wanting to read. Might as well." Anyways,
I have an e-reader too, though. I would like to note, and I do use it fairly regularly. Less so now that I'm not traveling as much, but I do use it fairly regularly. It's also different because it's not like a glaring shiny backlit screen. Like I don't know how like why it's different, but it's different. It's different because it doesn't upset me. That's why it's different.
it's bringing you joy, not torturing you.
Yeah, it's like just like Notability. Like it's different because it's different and it doesn't bother me. Like Notability is still not like I'd still prefer a pen and a notebook, right? But Notability is better than just like typing something up in a Word document. Yeah, I have very strong feelings about this, and I can't really give you more justification than the fact that some of it is good and some of it is bad.
I think my genuine boomer take on digital forms where I can't stand it is where are paper menus? I hate scanning a QR code.
Hard agree. I think for me part of the like digital versus analog too is just that like it's so hard to get functional formatting digitally. Like my brain doesn't want to process it. I can't see video games. Like this about me. This is a thing. I can't see video games. In case anyone is curious, we did try to play Lego Star Wars together once on something.
On my Xbox.
Yeah, and I remember distinctly sitting there and I'm trying to figure out this game and I'm like, oh, I think I got it. And you're like, why are you still just running into a wall? And I was like, I'm running into a wall? I thought I was like running down a hallway.
No, she thought that her character was mine and was fully not aware.
No, I knew which one was mine. I couldn't tell it was running into a wall. I thought it was just like running down the hallway and the wall was just like in the hallway, but I wasn't going anywhere. No, I knew who I was. I couldn't tell what anything was. I can't see like depths in video games either. So there's like some level of it that is really just like user interface of a lot of digital stuff just doesn't make sense to me. So like menus with QR codes, that's fine. That's great. But 9 times out of 10, if I'm dealing with that, your menu hasn't been well formatted to fit into like
a mobile device,
mobile user interface. And so then I'm trying to look at it and it's like not fitting onto my screen and I can't like I'm trying to scroll through and then it's kind of hard to like go back and forth. And
websites that are not designed for mobile usage, what are you doing? If you do not have a mobile usage for your website, what are you doing? It is 2026. We've been having smartphones since what, 2008? Yeah, we've had internet at our fingertips for nearly 20 years. Why do we not have all websites universal? Anyways, but my issue with QR codes for menus, I can only get behind it, like Maggie said, when you have a easy to use interface, but for quick service like bar service, if I'm ordering food at a bar and ordering drinks from a bartender. That's the only way that I'm ever like, okay, this makes sense. Like you're trying to have a quicker turnaround on something. But if I'm sitting down at a restaurant, if I'm sitting down at a cafe, no, I don't give me a QR code. Don't leave the QR code taped to the table. I know that we started this with the pandemic and it was easier to use your own device and not be touching a bajillion different paper things, germs spreading, bacteria, COVID. I totally get that. But we've had our vaccines coming out. We've kind of almost gone back to completely normal. Let's bring back some paper menus, please.
So I hard agree. However, the idea of being in like a busy bar and like consulting a menu is insane to me. So I'm at like a bar that like I have to go up to the bartender and it's like busy and loud and like things are going on. That's not a menu type of bar. I'm getting something like simple and standard kind of bar.
I'm thinking of I'm thinking of a sports bar that's near me. They have a bunch of standing tables and you go up to the bartender, you get a drink, and then you can order food and they have runners to and from the kitchen and it's just to your table number, and then when you're done you check out on one check. Like that kind of service. Okay,
kinda
makes sense.
Like Brew House.
Yeah, kind of like Brew House. Yeah.
R.I.P. Brew House.
R.I.P. Brewhouse. We loved you.
No, but I agree. I don't see that many QR code menus now though. And I think that that's a region. Again, not to be like, "Oh my god, you live in California," even though, "Oh my god, you live in California." I think it's a regional thing cuz like even when I was traveling, like there were places where I saw it a lot more and there were places where I didn't see it as much. Like I don't see it too much here in Charlotte, which is kind of surprising based on like it's kind of this city full of transplants and a lot of like finance bro type people. I feel like I would expect that here more, but we're also in the South, so there's that. But like I see it in kind of bigger metropolitan areas. I saw it in when I went to Burbank. I saw it like everywhere that I went. I've seen it probably it's up in like the Bay Area a lot. I see it up there. So I think it's somewhat regional. I did see it a little bit more. Like I saw it a little bit before COVID, and then I saw it a lot more before COVID, and then I've been seeing it less and less progressively, but I do still see it quite a bit in places where I feel like it doesn't belong. What I hate is the ones where you order on your phone. Like you scan the menu and then you also order on your phone. And like they have like servers or whatever, but like you don't order with them. Those drive me nuts.
There's a restaurant that I used to frequent. It was a tablet at the table and you had a waiter. One or the other. You know, quick service bar having a tablet versus QR code, okay, I can scroll the menu, I can select, okay, and it's designed for the restaurant, okay. But that plus a waiter waitress doesn't make any sense to me because the waiter waitress, they're there to take my order unless they're exclusively a runner. Okay, they're exclusively a runner. I have not worked in the restaurant industry. I don't know. I will always tip my server. I do know that. But I don't understand the purpose of having the two. But then besides the one-off of the quick service bar needing to order on my phone and having just runners, there's no point in ordering on my phone, especially when I'm sitting down.
I've seen this happen in like multiple places, and I feel like one of the places I've seen it is there's a mac and cheese place in Oakland that everybody loves. We went there once, and I feel like this happened there. I somehow end up at these restaurants a lot I feel like it happens a lot with my in-laws, which makes this 100 times more difficult. It's like, so it's not just me. Like if I when I would travel for work, I would go to dinner. I've been to places where it has a little tablet at the table, and that's nice because then I can just, when I'm done eating, I can just like close out and go. I don't have to like find my server, flag them down, anything like that. But when you order on your phone and you're in a group, then it's just annoying and complicated. And then like ideally, you know, this group's paying for themselves and we're paying for ourselves and it's really easy. But then when it's like a group and that's not been decided, or it's a group, but then like one set of the group is paying, and then you're trying to like figure out who all's put their order in and all that jazz. And there's just like a lot going on. It just gets complicated. You can't, like, people don't know if they've actually like added their stuff to the list. The last person doesn't know they're the last person, so they don't know when to hit order. It's like a whole thing. And then like some people just like cannot figure out how to use it, and then you're like walking them through it and they like still can't figure it out, and it just gets real complicated real fast. Then you also like, I fully understand having like a tablet, whatever, and a server. The server comes by, they refill your drinks, they kind of like keep up with what you're doing so they can still like turn their table over, but you have your little tablet so you can do things at your own pace. I get it. I don't love it, but I get it. But yeah, I hate ordering on my phone, especially when you're in a group.
On that, when did it start that for restaurants menus online, if I'm at home, I'm looking up a restaurant's menu, why do I have to pretend I'm placing an online order to look at a menu? When did restaurants just start doing this where I can't look at the menu unless I'm placing an online order? And what's the purpose of it?
I think that probably is another one of those like vestigial pieces of the pandemic where like before everybody was going to the restaurant. A lot of these restaurants probably didn't have online ordering before the pandemic. Like you could call and order a to-go order or whatever, but you couldn't necessarily go online and place one, right? Especially like local places.
But I'm talking about not I'm not talking about like why is everything an online order? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what happened to just being able to look up a menu on on a restaurant's website.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. Like once, like a lot of the restaurants where you could do that previously, a lot of times didn't have online ordering. And now that they have online ordering, that's where their menu lives on their website. They just don't have it anywhere else. A lot of them didn't even have websites to begin with. And so when they built the website, it was basically built around that online ordering, and it was built around their menu being there. And I don't have an issue with that if you go into the basically the online ordering platform and you see the menu first, and that's where you can like select it, and then you have to put in your like where you're ordering it to information at the end, because then you can still just look at the menu. But it's when you have to put in that information first and you're like, this is why I want a to go, I want a delivery order at this address at this time, blah blah blah, and then you can look at the menu.
Yeah, or even why are chain restaurants when you want to look at the menu and then it's like, "Oh, select your location." I get it, you guys have seasonal and
Hard agreeing with you,
yeah,
because
like no,
BJ's has the same things everywhere.
if you are a chain restaurant and I am actively looking up your menu to decide what I want, Cheesecake Factory specifically, I'm calling you out. If I want to decide what on your outrageously long menu I am going to have for dinner or out with my friends, and just trying to predetermine what I want to eat, why do I need to select which location I'm going to when you have the same menu universally, or at least 85% of the same menu universally? I can understand local discounts, local event, whatever. No one needs it. No one needs to select what location they're going to unless they are actively checking out for delivery or pickup anyways. But
That's fair.
the location, but also why am I making an account to order something off of your website? I do not need to make an account. I understand putting in my email and phone number for updates on the order if I'm doing a takeout or delivery. That I understand. I do not need to give you my email and password for an account to order. I don't need to. I can choose to, but I'm ordering this on a one-off. I'm traveling, I'm somewhere new, I'm getting a delivery to my hotel because I'm out here for work. I don't need to make an account on your website just to order food. I would rather call you and place a to-go order than do it online at that point. That pisses me off on a different level. It is so not user friendly. It is so inconvenient. Sure, it takes a few seconds of my day, but it just kind of ruins the experience of why am I making an account with you? And now my inbox is going to get completely spammed out. I have a whole email address dedicated to just accounts that I don't care to keep up with. All of those accounts just it goes to the ether, and every year I just hit delete all.
I feel like I haven't encountered that as much. I feel like anytime that there's a create an account option for like ordering food, there's also like an order as guest option. And so the only times I create accounts is if I'm doing something like I have like a Papa John's account, because sometimes I just need a Papa John's pizza, and I don't care that I'm in a new city and I should be trying something local. Sometimes I just want a pizza delivered to my hotel room because it took me 20 hours to get somewhere that should have taken me 7 hours. I was originally supposed to go home today, and instead I had to go to Minnesota in the winter, you know? And sometimes that just means I want a Papa John's pizza delivered to me. And if I'm going to do that, I might as well be getting little points towards a free pizza for it or whatever. Because I know I'm going to like eat at Papa John's more than once. But if it's somewhere that I'm not going to go super frequently, or if maybe I don't like Papa John's, it's just the only pizza that's around or the only pizza that's open, I can always order as a guest. So I've never seen where you have to do an account, but I hard agree. There should not be different accounts for everything. And I have a very specific bone to pick on accounts for everything. But first, I'm going to let you finish on this topic.
Yeah, that was my understatement.
Okay, because I have a new one. Have you ever tried to apply for a job?
Oh my God.
So, in case anybody has not had to apply for a job in the last 10 to 15 years, there are approximately 3 different platforms that exist for applying for jobs, for posting and hosting and doing all of that. And I don't mean like LinkedIn where I can like find everything, but I mean once you go to that specific company. Let's say I'm looking for a job at we have a big chain donut shop based here in Charlotte. I want to go look for a job for them. If I decide I'm going to go to their little website and I'm going to scroll through their list of jobs and I say, oh, this one's perfect for me. I want to work here. And I click on it. And I say, oh, I could do this job. I'm going to apply. I click apply. The platform that is hosting my ability to apply for that job. There's 3 of those, approximately. 3 big ones that I've encountered. My credentials include I have applied for probably at least 100 jobs over the last 2 months. So I'm fairly well versed. And those are the ones I've applied for. Those aren't even just the ones I've looked at. And so you have these massive platforms, and it's the same platform every time. But instead of, I'm going to log into this platform once, and it's just going to keep, I don't even need to be able to log in there and look for new jobs at other companies. I'll keep using LinkedIn, Indeed, whatever for that. But I'm just going to log in here, and I'm going to be able to see every job I've applied for that's hosted on this company's platform. So I could see the one for the donut shop. I could see the one for the hardware store that's based out here. I could see one for one of the 57 banks that we have in this city. What have you. I could see them all there. It's one account that I log into. Instead, I just use the same username and password for every single one, but I have to have 27,000 of them because each company has its own thing instead. And all that it is a job application platform. And it drives me insane because then my computer's like, oh, we've been to this website before. We already have a username and password. Except you don't, computer. And you're trying so hard to be smart. And I love you for it. But you're wrong.
Workday, get your crap together. Workday, please.
I have an uncle that works there.
You have a connection, bro. Get it fixed.
I want so hard to just call him and be like, dude, what are you doing?
No, actually, it's crazy. I've had to, both Maggie and I have been. Both Maggie and I have been applying for jobs both at the same time, simultaneously and separately, just to get something under our belts. But Workday, yeah, I mean, I can totally understand going into a company's portal for the application and then logging into my Workday and uploading everything, totally fine. But if I'm going to go into the Workday website and go log in with my email and password, and I have no updates on any of those applications, like that actually sucks. And their interface is horrible.
So the other thing that I think about every time I do this, so I mentioned there's like 3 major platforms. And there's one that I really like, and it basically just builds the application into the bottom of the description. And I like that one because you don't have to basically have a separate multi-piece copy of your resume. You upload your resume, and then it just uses that as your resume. It doesn't, no, there's nothing for it to autofill. There's not a work experience thing you have to fill out. It's just your resume's here, your cover letter's here. If there's any additional questions, you put in your name, your email, all that jazz. Love that. That top tier job applying. If you are using that platform, I love you. Please hire me.
What's that platform? I don't think I've ever had it.
I have no idea. I don't like. It's not like super well labeled. I just have encountered it a lot on jobs. Then there's Workday, and my qualm with Workday, actually, aside from the amount of the market share that they own and the fact that their user interface in terms of logging into things is absolute garbage. They are trash at autofilling from your resume. Like, she can get it about 60, maybe 65% right. And then I have to go through and I have to reformat everything and I have to make it look all pretty and I have to make it all good. And I should just be able to leave it because this is the platform you chose to use and this is how it's autofilling. And also, I actually uploaded my resume that I took the time to sit down and lay out and build and design and fill out and put all my words in here Why can't you just look at that? If I'm not careful, I'm going to go off. This is not going to be a digital digital paperwork and having a password for everything. This is going to become applying for jobs is absolute trash. And I'm not trying to go there. It just might end up there. It's just not good at, like, it can't tell. And I think I have a very standardly formatted,
non-AI generated resume.
yeah, like it should be really, like I have like my things. And it's the fact that it can and each job is structured the same way on my resume. So if you can tell that's what it is for this one, why can't you tell for all of these other ones, right? And then it'll like mix and match information and I have to go through. And now, because I've applied for so many jobs, I can predictably tell where it's going to screw it up. So I do it, and then I also know exactly what I need to do to fix it, which is helpful. But also, what if it just didn't screw it up so I didn't have to know that? You know what I mean? The third platform, which I also don't know what it's called, I think it's something similar to Workday in its name. I don't know specifically. There's a third one. I really, really like this one because it's really good. It's like 90+% accurate when it autofills from my resume. It like keeps, because I have my like experience points like bulleted, it keeps my bullet points and it keeps them for all three descriptors, as opposed to like Workday only pulls the last two. The first one it takes it off and then I have to go through and I have to delete all the other bullet points. Garbage, pain, doo-doo, don't like it. This third one I am very, very fond of because it is so much less effort to have to go through and fix everything that it screwed up than to just have it do it right the first time. And I like it. And there's one other one. She's not major. She's not a major player. And she's real hard to get into for some reason. But ADP, the one thing I like, everything else about it as for the job application part. I understand they do like payroll stuff, totally different. Just the portion of their stuff that does job applications. Absolute trash. But it has a box, and you can check a box that says do not let AI look at my job application. And I respect that. I hate everything else about it, but I respect that. And we need that option on everything. And that, again,
that option on
is not necessarily what we're talking about right now. I hate having to create a new account. And this is where, again, if this was not the internet age, I could go down the street, drive across town, because I can't go down the street. This just doesn't exist down the street. But I could drive across town. I could go to the bookstore. I could say, hey, y'all hiring? And they could be like, yeah, we're hiring. Here's a job application. And fill out the job application. Brought some printed out copies of my resume with me. Slide it over. They can be like, okay. They can review it. They can give me a phone call. Say, hey, we're interested in hiring you. We think you'd be a good fit. Instead, I have to go through this whole rigmarole. I have to find their website. Then I have to find where on their website their jobs are listed. And then I have to go through and I have to sort all these different types of things to find what jobs they have near me. If they have a job, then I have to create an account, sign in, apply for said job. And then sometimes you try to create an account and it's like, oh, you already have an account because you applied for a job at this company, 4 years ago when you were last applying for jobs. And so now you have to try to remember what the password is. And of course, you're not going to remember the password. So then you have to reset your password. So then you try to reset your password and you follow their parameters. And then they're like, oh, that was your old password. You can't use that password. So then you're trying to make it a new password, and they're like, oh, you can't use that password either because you can't use any of your 6 past passwords. It's like, I haven't even had 6 past passwords. What do you mean? And so I'm just saying, if we relied on paperwork, I could just walk in somewhere and I could be like, hey, are you guys hiring? I could get a straight answer, and I could get a job application if that straight answer was yes. And you just can't do that anymore.
Also, significantly less likely for your information to get stolen.
Do you know how many spam calls I have been getting since I started applying for jobs? And they're not calls from places I've been applying for jobs. They're calls from back in Oklahoma. Notably, I don't live there. I would love to not have that happen. I would love to be able to just walk in somewhere and be like, hey, are you guys hiring? Because also when I'm driving down the street and I see something, I'm like, oh, that's a place I could work. And then by the time I get home, I forgot what it's called and I can't write it down because I'm driving. And if I'm driving, I need to use my hands and my eyes and my brain to drive. I can't use those things to write. Yeah, I would love to not have to put all my information out there. Because also on every job application, I have to put my address. Why do I need to put my address for you to hire me? Why can't I just tell you what city I live in?
Yeah. Or even just zip code.
Well, yeah, but zip code doesn't even matter because, like, there's multiple zip codes in Charlotte.
Yeah, but then you get the area.
Well, yeah, but if I live in the southeast side of town and they're on the northwest side of town and they see that I'm in the southeast side of town zip code, they might be like, oh, well, we're going to hire somebody in this closer zip code because she's not going to want to commute all the way over here. You don't know that. If I just say that I'm in Charlotte, you don't know where I am. And if I'm okay with the commute, then it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Fair. Yeah, no, my other columns are any digital forms for medical inquiries and medical information. I do my very best to opt out of digital forms for those as often as I can. I prefer to write all of those out and have a physical copy for my own records. I don't trust, especially with cybercrime being pretty high, I don't really trust my information not getting taken digitally. Also, as someone that worked for a cybersecurity company for a little bit, I understand how easy it can be to access that information, even if someone's just very passively going through their inboxes or entering something on the computer and just they happen to click the wrong pixel, how easy it is to get all of that information taken. So it is definitely a lot safer, in my opinion, to have a physical analog of all those. But
yeah, my pediatrician's office got hacked or whatever a few years back. They had to like let everybody know and then pay for a certain amount of time for everybody for like a identity theft watch, whatever. Yeah, I've had that happen. Nobody stole my identity though. Jesse Grady's just out there stealing my phone number and my sanity.
this poor man doesn't know the fire that he's lit 10 years ago.
Oh, this is not poor man, and this fire was not fire 10 years ago. 10 years ago, oh, this is funny. This is my first spam text message. Oh, this is funny. Oh, it's been a while, but I just got something for Jesse Grady. Guess he's still around. He's still kicking him with us. But recently? What do you mean I have 20 unread spam text messages that I got in the last 2 days? I don't do it. I'm not about it. The other day, I went down a rabbit hole about him. This is where digital paperwork comes in handy, okay? My favorite thing about digital paperwork, the fact that I can go find public records online. And not every public record is online, but notably, I've heard they maybe don't have this in all of the states, but I do know they have it in Oklahoma, and it is one of my favorite things ever. In Oklahoma, we have the Oklahoma State Court Network, OSCN. And OSCN is a website that you can go on to, and you can search anybody's name and find any court records associated with them in the state of Oklahoma. I love OSCN. I have learned so many things on OSCN. I have not looked up too very many people on OSCN, mostly because there's not really a good reason to. I'm curious if you look up an attorney, if all of the cases they've worked on show up, or just like cases where they have been like one of the two parties. I don't know. Haven't done that. Probably should. Not going to. I have looked up 2 specific people on OSCN, and one of them is Jesse Grady. And it made all of his spam text messages make sense because he had 9 cases associated with him. They were all in the county that I come from. They were all in the last 20 or so years, and they were all pertaining to financial issues of some sort with either payday credit loans or other monetary entities or the hospital system. Yeah, he and I be beefin'. But I love OSCN. I love the access that digital paperwork gives us, right? Like we have access to these public court records because they're digital. I love that. I love the ability to access things that I need to access when I'm out and about. I love the ability to search for a book at the library because we have a digital database for it. so I don't have to go to the library. I don't have to like know which of the libraries in the system the book is at. I can just like look it up online. There's a lot of good things about digital paperwork and digital internet and digital records. I hate when I have to fill out paperwork there. It's just not good.
It's not good. But I think I think we've stretched this topic as thin as we can.
Yeah, I think we've gone all the way there and then some. I have no idea how long this has gone, so hopefully this ends up shaking out to a full-length episode. If not, sorry about you. Sorry about your mom. You
What
get
my
what you
mom
get. You
have
don't
to do
throw a
with it?
fit. No, not your mom. The person listening's mom. Your mom's mom. Your grandmother.
Hi, Grandma. She listens to us.
No, but I think sometimes if we had to do physical paperwork, the world would be a better place. It would certainly be easier for my tiny little shrimp-brained process because I'm not good at digital stuff. Do not let the fact that I am doing something on the internet fool you. But that's what I've got. I hope you had a good time. If you didn't,
I certainly had a great time.
yeah, I'm glad you had a great time. People listening, I also hope you had a great time. If you didn't, learn to be better. Um, we'll be back next week talking about something probably equally as benign, but definitely as aggressive. We're going to have a great time. You're going to be here to listen to it. Have a great week. Have the week you deserve. Bye.
Make sure you follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Can I Be Mean for a Sec, and check us out on YouTube just to give us a little bit more views. We're growing over there too, so we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.